Hey everybody, how you doing? Peter, you follow me everywhere, man. It's good to see you. Totally Groundhog Day. Um, Thank you guys for joining me here today. I'm really excited to be with you. I'm going to share with you 3 secrets to selling bigger creative projects. But as we wait for some people to filter in the room, I'm just going to make a couple kind of quick housekeeping announcements. One is if you aren't a member of the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, please go over and join. It's a private group. You have to answer a few questions to get in, but it's pretty easy. And there's a whole lot of great creative professionals over there in that group, interacting, sharing knowledge, sharing resources. It's a very vibrant community. It's only been around for about 4 months, so it's still growing, but come on over. The water's fine. So go on into the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. And also, if you are looking to learn more about your favorite Adobe applications programs, I encourage you to go over to Bring Your Own Laptop. Daniel Scott is a certified Adobe trainer, and this is an affiliate link, byol.me/Philip. It's a subscription model, so it's like $12 or $15 a month. It's really cheap, and Daniel is one of the best Adobe application trainers out there. So for that subscription fee, you get access to all of his video library. So if you want to learn Illustrator or Photoshop or InDesign, you want to get better at those things, check out byol.me/Philip for Daniel Scott. He's a good friend of mine, super, super talented guy. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you about, now let me check this. I just want to double check my feed. Yeah, I'm going. Okay, I got to turn this off now. All right. I'm going to be sharing with you today about 3 secrets that you can use in order to get bigger and better creative projects. And in full disclosure, here I'm going to move into presentation mode here. I'm going to jump right into it today. I've been giving this presentation a couple times this week, so I'm pretty practiced at it, but I haven't done it on YouTube yet, and I thought I would share it with my YouTube audience. So I am going to pop right into a different screen mode, and I want to talk to you about 3 secrets to selling bigger creative projects. And these are proven ways you can sell more work, make more per project, and sell more of your creative services for higher fees than you currently are selling them for. In full disclosure, I'm going to share this content with you today, and it's very valuable content. It has rootings in brand strategy, and when we get to the end of the presentation, I'm going to be sharing with you a way that you could join or buy my new signature course on Brand Strategy 101. So this is leading in to a bit of a sales presentation, but I've been working on this course for over a year. I'm very excited about it. It's launched just this week, and it's going to be fantastic. What you're going to see today in this presentation is just a hint of some of the themes that I'm going to be talking about in Brand Strategy 101. So I encourage you to stay through to the end because I think you're going to want to hear about it. I'm very excited about that announcement. But we are going to dive right into this content, and I think you're going to find it very valuable. So, hey Rafa, good to see you from Houston. Awesome. All right. So what I promise, I'm making you a promise. I'm going to promise that I'm going to show you how you can go from order taker to being considered a more highly valued business partner by your clients. So you can charge higher fees for the creative work that you're already doing and get paid for thinking and offering the advice that you're probably offering already, but just giving it away for free. But how you can charge for that advice as well. Hi, Anita. Good to see you. And I have a lot of content to go through today, so I may be going a little rapid fire. This will be recorded and posted on YouTube afterwards, so of course you can go back and check it and take notes. And if you join the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, I'll also be presenting it in that group tomorrow. If you stay with me till the end, I have a little bit of a freebie for you. It's a discovery call checklist. I'm going to share with you the URL for that checklist so you can download it, and I think you're going to really enjoy that as well. And so, clicking ahead, my slides are slow. Wait for it. Yeah, what's the deal with my slides? They're so slow. Okay, there we go. If you could, I know we all multitask, but if you just want to, hey, Ryan, welcome. If you want to turn off your distractions, your desktop notifications, just so you can focus on the content that I'm sharing today, that would be fantastic. But as I said, this is going to be recorded and posted afterwards. So if for some reason you got to jump, that's cool. You can always come back and look at it later. And so I want you to think about 3 questions. What do you ask when you ask questions of your clients in a discovery call? What do you ask them about? Number 2, when do you nail down the scope of the project that you're engaging with them on? And number 3 is, how do you gain an understanding of your client's brand? How do you go about gaining that understanding? When you think about those questions, have you exposed in yourself any kind of a vacuum of knowledge, anything that you're not really sure about, or you're not sure if you're going about it in the right way? Well, if that's the case, then you're in the right place, because if you're excited about the prospect of being treated like a more highly valued business partner rather than just an order taker, and having more influence over the projects that come your way through your clients, then you're in the right place today. You're also in the right place if you're intrigued by the idea of being able to sell bigger projects. So that's increasing the scope of the projects. If a prospect comes to you and they say, I need this one thing, how can you increase the scope of that project so you can do more things and get paid more money? And also, how can you get paid for thinking and the advice that you give to your clients, in addition to your creative work? And also, if you're a designer and you're feeling that downward pricing pressure, Wajahat, good to see you. Awesome. Good to see you here. If you're feeling that downward pricing pressure of Fiverr and 99 Designs and AI and template sites, then you're also in the right place, because some of what I'm going to be talking about today, and definitely the course information I'm going to share at the end, is going to take you to a new place in regards to that. So do you self-identify with any of these 3 items? Which do you self-identify with the most? Do you want to be valued as a business partner and have more influence over your clients? Do you want to sell bigger projects and then also get paid for the thinking that you do, the advice that you give, the intellectual property you're giving away? And number 3, do you want to conquer that challenge of how much you can charge for your work? Do you feel limited about what is the price point that you can sell your work at? Well, whatever your motivation, whichever one of those 3 things that you identified with the most, I got you covered. So all of you here, I think most of you here, know a little bit about me. I've had 25 plus, to be charitable, years of experience, both on the corporate side, client side, as well as the global agency side. And I've been running my own global brand consultancy for over 8 years. I've interviewed more than 4,000 designers. I hire full-time more than 400 designers. I've spoken around the world. I run paid mastermind groups. I've consulted. I've run user research projects for clients. Been around the block a couple times. I'm also not a total brand bot. Some people think, because of my social media presence, I might be one-dimensional. Well, I have a wife. I have 2 wonderful 110-pound shepherds. Pony is on the right, Banyan's on the left. I have a big orange cat whose name is Harry, who runs the whole show. And so I, have an outside life in addition to being a total, brand head too. 80%, hey Andrew, welcome. 80% of my revenue, my personal agency revenue, comes from consulting and selling strategy. I have evolved that over the last 6 years from probably about 80% design to now more 80% flipped the other way. I have clients ranging from solopreneurs who are just launching businesses to $100 million companies. I now work with small to medium-sized businesses, when in my old agency days, I used to work with, the Fortune 500, really big companies. And some of these, sorry, I'm going to back up again. I also run paid mastermind groups. I do individual coaching. I've helped dozens and dozens of creative professionals advance in their careers. And I have the luxury of being able to say no to projects that the client's not going to value me, or I don't particularly like the client. I don't have to say yes to everything that crosses my desk. And I think that I'll be able to get you to that place too. These are just a few of the clients that I've worked with in my career. big corporate clients across a huge range of categories and industries. I've worked with a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs now in the last 6 years. But a lot of what I'm sharing with you and a lot of what I've built into the course that I'm going to be sharing with you towards the end of this presentation comes from the methodologies and the practices that I've used with these companies. I had an aha moment. I want to tell you just a little bit about my aha moment. When I left big corporate about 6 years ago, I went out on my own and started my own brand consultancy. And I had this epiphany where I decided that I was going to take all those strategic tools, that strategic methodology, strategic design practices that I had learned and used with these Fortune 500 clients, and they had paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for. I was going to take those and create a more modular system that was simplified, that I could use with small to medium-sized businesses and entrepreneurs, and bring that same kind of strategic value to smaller companies and individuals. And I also wanted to teach other creative professionals to be able to do that too. So what I'm going to be able to share, what I'm sharing with you a little bit today, a little sneak peek in these 3 secrets, is how to do that, how to go about an engagement with your clients in a slightly different way, very different way. And then later, if you choose to work with me more, we'll get into much more detail about what that process looks like. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Allergies? I don't know. So I want you to just imagine in the future just a little bit, like what would it be like if you could choose the clients that you wanted to work with and that you didn't have to take on every single job that came across your desk? Or how would you feel if you were able to, get paid for the advice that you're giving, and paid for the thinking that you do for your clients that you may be just giving away for free right now? But here's the other thing is, if you get paid for doing that, it also allows you to increase the prices of the basic creative work, whatever that is, audio editing, video editing, graphic design, copywriting, that you do for your clients as well. There's a halo effect to that. And imagine if your clients really treated you like a highly valued business partner. They really valued your opinion, and you became, a real partner rather than just a service provider. So by learning a brand strategy system, that is really the most powerful way and the best way to have your clients love working with you, and also so you can produce your best work, grow your income, increase your freedom levels, to life-changing, to take it to a life-changing place. That's what developing this system and utilizing this system has done for me, and also for people that I've taught it to. So what we're going to be doing today, I'm just going to give you a little roadmap of some of what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to share some myths and some realities, some things that you may believe and some realities that I think I have come to believe. The power of the discovery call. We're going to talk about kind of key questions that you can use to unlock more work in those conversations. I'm going to be sharing leveraging competitive audits to unlock more work, doing brand audits and opportunity assessments with your clients. And then at the end, as I said, I'm going to be sharing my new Brand Strategy 101 course, how you could go forward and work with me in the future. And then at the end, I'll have a little Q&A. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just pop them in the chat. If you are going to ask a question, I'm going to throw this up there, please type question in all caps before your question, and then in the chat, I'll be able to cruise back through it quickly and recognize your questions. I don't have a moderator today. All right, that said, let's move on. Let's talk about discovery calls. So here's a myth, that you don't have any influence over how big your projects are, how big the projects are that you get from your clients. You don't have any influence on how big those projects are. And when in reality, by asking the right questions in a discovering call, you can really unlock and uncover an incredible number of opportunities for growing your projects. Here's another myth, that clients understand what they need to make their businesses successful. Because in reality, a lot of times clients have incomplete have an incomplete picture of what, and are usually to a certain extent guessing what's going to make their business successful. And sometimes the things they're asking for in the project aren't necessarily going to return the results that they are actually looking for. So let's get into some detail here. And this is where I'm going to dump a whole lot of information on you really fast, which is, here are the key questions that you ask in a discovery call that are going to unlock more work. There are 10 questions, and 9 of them you can use to unlock more work. The first one is really background information on the company. This is company's number of employees, the length of time in business, the amount of revenue that they have, how many stakeholders or decision makers are going to be involved in the project. And this is a key one. Have they had any other experience with other agencies? Getting a mirror into their experience with other agencies up until this point kind of gives you an indication of how you're going to need to work with them. So it's an important question to ask. Number 2 is asking about the company's products or service. And this is, are their products and services geared towards the mass? Are they value? Are they premium or bespoke? Is their assortment of products and services very narrow, or is it very broad? Is it niched down on a very particular targeted market, or is it somewhat unfocused and more generalist? Is there opportunity when you ask those questions and they kind of outline what their product and service landscape looks like? Many times there are opportunities to, and I'm not saying you do it at the table that very second, but to unlock ideas that you may have for them to expand their products or services, expand how they deliver those services, or the range of products that they're offering. If you can make recommendations around things like that, if they spark to an idea about a new product or a new service, whenever that happens, there is always a tremendous amount of creative work that has to accompany the development of that new product or service. So you're seeding the client with a spark of an idea that can lead to more work for you. Sometimes it can even happen in that very call. Number 3 is a customer avatar. This is a very important question because you want to understand whether they have a very clear picture of who their customer avatar is. Now, a customer avatar is a picture or a profile of who their ideal customer is. A lot of times clients will say, our customer is everybody. We want to sell to anybody. When in reality, they have to nail down or at least focus in on a particular bullseye target of an avatar that they want. They may be able to, hit more customers outside of that bullseye, but you want to have a target that you really target your marketing and your tone of voice and your advertising to, and your products and services to, right? So do they have the avatar defined? Have they illustrated in some sort of visual codified way who their avatar is? Is there an opportunity there after asking that question for you to help them illustrate or create a profile around a customer avatar? By capturing, codifying, and visualizing a customer avatar for your clients, they then have a document that they can use to educate their entire internal team set. Because a lot of times, internal teams may have varying ideas of who their customer is, and so they're not aligned to exactly what they're doing day to day in their products, in their services, in their marketing. And if they align to the customer avatar, then everyone's much more targeted in all the work that they do. So, exploring that topic, the customer avatar topic with your clients, is a very, very smart thing to do in the discovery call. I need a little drink. Okay, strategic foundation. This is another important question. You want to ask your client if they've had any strategic work done. Have they had any branding work done? A lot of small clients, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small to medium-sized businesses may have a business plan, and that may be the extent of their strategy work that they've done up until now. But finding out what they have and what they don't have is helpful for you, because if you find out that there are gaps or holes in that strategic foundation of tools, processes, positioning statements, vision statements, mission statements, customer avatars, brand archetypes, things like that. If you recognize that there are holes in that, in what your clients have, that's a huge opportunity for you to offer in and sell in more services for what you do. When you ask about channels of business, number 5, channels of business are, what are the delivery mechanisms that they use for delivering their products and services? Do they do that digitally? Do they do it physically? Do they do it, human services? Is it automated? Is it something that happens in e-commerce, online? What are their channels of business? Is it physical retail? Because again, if you can get them to voice what their entire business landscape looks like, it gives you an opportunity to make suggestions, or when you start looking at their competition, to compare and contrast what their competition is doing in their channels of business to your clients' channels of business. Because making comparisons like that makes clients very aware that they need to up their game in one way or another, or pay attention to their competition in a very different way than they might have been doing up until now. So asking about channels of business is a great opportunity to expand your work. Is everyone tracking with me? Comments are really quiet. And Joselle usually as a way of kind of juicing everybody up and asking questions as I go along. She's not here today, but I just want to make sure you guys are all tracking with me, because I'm dumping a whole lot of knowledge on you guys today. I want to make sure my feed's going to take too. Okay, Andrew's with me. Good. It's still feed. You can still hear me. That's good. All right. So number 6. Number 6 is brand design ecosystem. Now, as creative professionals, this is one that we get, right? We understand this. We know what it looks like in a client's business. We know what this means. It means, what is the brand design that goes across every single touch point that the client has? Every single place that the client shows up, physically or digitally, is that well designed? Is it consistent? Do they use the right colors, logos, fonts? What does that brand design ecosystem look like? Where are they showing up? Where are they not showing up? Where are there inconsistencies? This is a really important question, because you, as a creative pro, can really recognize very quickly where they might be falling down, where they may not be operating optimally. And if you can recognize that and illustrate it to them, that's the important part. Illustrate it visually to them. That will unlock more work for you. Number 6 is marketing. Marketing is another amazing opportunity. So where do they market? What are they currently doing? How are they bringing in new customers? Is it word of mouth? Is it referrals? Is it content marketing, so inbound marketing? Is it promotion, so paid advertising? What are they doing in terms of marketing? When you ask these questions and capture this with your clients, it will expose to you avenues of opportunity for promotion for their products and services that they might not be doing, or they may not be seeing of value, or they might have tried and not done well, so they think it doesn't work. But this opens up avenues for you to make recommendations to do additional marketing. And whenever you go down a new path in marketing, there's all sorts of creative work and all sorts of copy and all sorts of imagery and design that has to be done in order to populate that marketing. So it's another huge opportunity to expand that scope of the project. Number 8 is a competitive landscape. And I'm going to talk more about the competitive landscape as I go into this presentation deeper. Looking at the competitive landscape is the biggest opportunity to motivate your clients to do more. And that is when you compare your clients and to their competition on the same categories, and you show them that their competition is doing things bigger, better, different than they are, it motivates them to up their game. And so asking them about their competition, who their competition is, what keeps them up at night, what do they think their competition is doing better than they are, how is their competition showing up that they're not showing up, what products and services do they offer in comparison to your client prospects' products and services. By asking these questions, it really exposes where they're nervous and where they feel like they are going to have to perform better in order to remain competitive. So digging into the competitive set, what your client knows about it. And here's the other thing. Here's a really important opportunity there. which is that if your client doesn't have a very clear picture or complete understanding of who their competition is or what they are doing very specifically across a really broad range of categories, which we'll get into in a second, if they don't know it, then you have this huge opportunity in order to illustrate that for them, to compare them visually and psychologically in terms of content, etc. I'll get to their competition. It's a very, very motivational exercise to do to unlock more work. Number 9 and number 10 are kind of linked together, and that is that they come to the table with a project scope, right? They have an idea of what the scope is that they want to do, but by digging into that and asking about the result that they want to achieve, many times what they are coming to the table to you with as a project scope and then vocalizing the result they want to see, there may be additional work that goes into achieving that result. So yes, it might help that you're doing that particular piece of scope of work, but sometimes the scope of work they're looking for isn't even actually going to deliver the result that they want. For instance, I've used this example before, but say a client comes to you and says, we really need a new website. Our website's tired. We need a new website. And then you dig in and you ask questions, and it comes down to the fact that they say we need more traffic. And you're like, okay, well, what does the traffic do? What are you getting from the traffic? Well, actually, we need people to fill out our contact form. And when they do that, what happens? Well, we put them on our email list and our salespeople call them. Or sometimes they call us, the number we list on our contact form. And you're like, oh, okay, so what you really want is you want people to be calling you or filling out a contact form. You might find out that the website is, for the most part, perfectly fine, but their contact form is buried, or there's not a really clear customer journey in terms of copy or clear buttons for where they want their traffic, their visitors, web visitors, to go. And so when you dig into the result, many times that can unlock additional work to do. It may be copywriting work, it may be website navigation work that you weren't originally scoped to do to achieve the result that they want to achieve. Mariana, good to see you. Ryan, awesome. Drinking from a fire hose. I know, right, Ryan? Man, listening to it is one thing, trying to get it all out of my mouth is another. Hold on a second. That is why, as Peter Lewis knows, who was at the beginning of this chat, he might not still be here, is that Red Bull is what keeps my lips moving when I go live like this. One word describes what a discovery call is, and I bet you can guess what that word is, right? By now, it is opportunity. A discovery call or series of calls, when done correctly, exposes huge opportunities for expanding the scope of the projects that are brought to you. Now, as I promised, let's talk about the competitive audit. Here's another myth. Clients understand their competition and know what they need to do to win. Actually, many cases, clients never really have looked very deeply or in detail at their competition. And rarely have they looked at their own brand under the same or through the same lens that they look at their competition. And that's where the real value lies. If you learn how to illustrate and complete a competitive audit in a very visual way for your clients and show them how they are stacking up in comparison to their competition on very similar parameters, it's incredibly motivating. Sorry, I'm digging into the content before I even get into this, but the competitive audit explores things like the visual branding, who the customer targets perceived to be, what competition's products and services are, what the scale of their company is, how they communicate, what is their tone of voice, what is their customer journey like, how are they engaging, what channels of business are they in, what kind of content, if any, do they produce? Is it blog posts? Is it a newsletter? Is it gated content that's white papers that are behind a paywall? What is that content? Do they have some sort of community? Facebook, Twitter, do they actually engage with their community? What's that conversation look like? what kind of marketing they do. Do they do paid advertising, promotional, inbound marketing, attraction marketing, word of mouth marketing? How do they do it? And also, what are they doing on social? These are just some of the verticals, some of the parameters that you put the competitive set through. You look at them through these parameters and you capture these. And you do the same thing with your client. And what a competitive audit helps you do, I alluded to this just a little bit a few minutes ago, is a competitive audit helps you understand who your client's key competitors are, where they're showing up, what they look like, their brand design, their brand ecosystem, how they're positioning themselves against their competition in the marketplace, what products and services they offer, how they're talking about themselves, how other people, their customers maybe, their competition, how they are talking about them. And it helps you keep your finger on the pulse of what other businesses are doing in your prospective client's industry. What they're doing, what they're saying, what they're offering. By educating yourself and educating your client about this, you help your client stay differentiated and compelling in relationship to their competition. Here's the most important thing. Doing a competitive audit, whether you get paid to do it, which is obviously you would rather get paid for it, but there's ways of doing where you don't get paid for it, but then you benefit from the increase of scope that comes from doing it, is it helps you recommend to your clients what they need to do to stay competitive and relevant to their customers. This will expand projects. Because then when you make those illustrations of a competitive audit to the client, you can then recommend additional products, services, design, marketing, copywriting, photography, content, different channels that they can hire you to develop. And this is the beautiful thing when you're making those recommendations of what they need to do. A lot of the time they're like, yeah, you're right. We really do need to do that. And there you are sitting at the table saying, you know what? I can handle that for you. I got a great team that does that kind of work exactly. You want me to give you some, I'll work up a ballpark quote for you. It happens, and the more you practice it, the more effective you find out that it is. Let's talk about the brand audit now. The third secret. The brand audit is when you've looked at the competition, and now you're going to look at your prospect, your client's brand. Another myth around this is clients don't want to pay for brand strategy, that they don't see their ROI of doing it. And I hear this all the time. Designers, creative pros come to me and they say, I try to do strategy and I talk to my clients and I say, we should do a mission statement, a vision statement, we should do a brand positioning, whatever that is. And they're like, why? It's like, I just need a new website. They don't see the hard ROI, the result of doing it. But the reality is when you show your clients how doing strategy affects and creates revenue generating opportunities for them, they are happy to pay for it. And some of what I just talked to you about in terms of the competitive audit is a brand strategy exercise. You can show your client what exercises like that look like and what they expose without actually doing it for your client. You can use a case study or a version of a competitive audit that you've done for somebody else or that you've done on spec for yourself as an illustration to sell in the idea to your clients. A brand audit, working with your clients inside your client's brand and exploring with them if they have done any brand strategy. You want to explore whether they've done brand positioning work, whether they've, as I said before, developed a customer avatar, have they developed any kind of brand personality or mission or vision statements, have they developed any visual or verbal expressions, tones of voice, mood boards around their brand that define and codify who their brand is, what their brand is. What are the internal stakeholder perceptions? This is a really interesting one, and I'm going to go down a bit of a rabbit hole on this, and that is that when I interview client prospects and I have stakeholder interviews with them, a lot of times I find out that the stakeholders have different perceptions around what the brand's positioning is, or its strategy is, or its customer avatar is. And when you expose those inconsistencies across the senior stakeholders in the company, it's amazing how motivating that is for them to figure it out and get it straightened out internally. And they can pay you to do that. You also want to look at their brand design, the assets that they have, visual and design assets they have. You want to look at their content, their communication. You're seeing how these are aligning with what's in the competitive audit. You look at their marketing, you look at their brand ecosystem and the footprint, where and how far they are showing up in all of their brand touch points. So most importantly, your brand audit creates a really full picture of what your client prospect's brand ammunition is against its competition. It exposes what they have and what they're missing. And the missing piece is where your antennae are up, right? The missing piece is where if you can illustrate that to them, they can pay you to develop it. What they need, you are there and ready to supply that to them. So the three secrets are a discovery call, a competitive audit, and a brand audit. That combination will give you everything you need to make the observations and the recommendations that your client can't ignore. And as I like to say, it kind of acts like a pea. You know the story of the princess and the pea, the old fable, put the pea under the mattress of the princess and she can feel it and she can't sleep. That's kind of what this is to clients, is you're putting a pea under their mattress and it eats at them and they really want to fix it. And it's very hard for them to deny it once it's illustrated to them. So a good audit is a really, really powerful thing. This is just a very quick visual of some of the audits and some of the tools I use in the audits that I do. When you show your clients their competition in the full competitive landscape, it convinces them to take action. So this is where I segue a little bit. I hope you can see how powerful it is when you know how to uncover these possibilities so you can work at a deeper level with your clients. When you start to engage at a strategic level with your clients, in this level of thinking and recommendation, how it can unlock more work for you, more creative work for you, but then also strategic work for you. And I want to know, would you like me, this is where it transitions to, you can work with me going forward on this. And I can take you to a very different level with this and help you learn how to implement this in your business. If you'd like me to help you learn this brand strategy system, this is only a tiny, tiny piece of it on the very front end. There's a lot more on the back end. You can 2x your revenue and increase your project sizes. And so there's kind of two ways you can go about it. One is you can take some of the information I shared with you today and you can try to create your own brand strategy process and run the risk of being in the same place that you are next year with same clients, treating you like a mouse pusher and worried about Fiverr's prices. Or you can commit to learning a system, a repeatable brand strategy process that's going to future-proof your business, really, and increase your revenue. And so that's why I'm going to give you this opportunity. I'm launching my very first signature course. I'm going to deliver this course live over Zoom over 7 weeks. So it's going to be direct connection with me. It's not just a video course where you can move up the food chain from designers to more to the C-suite level thinking, where the decisions on a brand are made. So I'm going to invite you to join me inside of this course, Brand Strategy 101. It's the only online training of its kind that shows you how to use a proven strategy process so you can land bigger projects, increase your fees, and start to get paid for thinking. So here's what you're going to put into action, okay? I'm going to demystify strategy for you. If you've started to play around with strategy but don't know how all the pieces fit together, this is going to clarify that for you in a simple, modular way so you can scale these sorts of things up and down depending on the type of client you're working with and depending on what that client actually needs. And I'm going to help you learn how to communicate the ROI of strategy so your clients are more likely to pay for it. I'm also going to teach you how you can assess what your clients' needs are, what they have, what they don't have, and how you can recommend new things to them. How you can audit the competition in a visually compelling way so you can sell bigger projects. And this proven system and toolkit, because I'm going to give you 23 different tools that you can then take and use directly in your business. And I'm going to teach you how to use them on your own and with your clients. And I'm also going to show you how strategy and design connect, because brand strategy in and of itself is an intellectual exercise. It doesn't have a creative aspect to it, meaning a design aspect to it. But when you link strategy to design, and those things become intertwined, and that Venn diagram comes together where you start to create strategic design, that is another aspect of this course that I'm going to show you how you can build an intersection between those things and up-level how the type of design that you're delivering to your clients. So it's more strategic and less basically aesthetic. And then how you can use all of this to start to get paid to think. The course has got 7 modules to it. There are strategic components on the front end, brand discovery. This is the discovery call and the interview and the selling in process. There's brand assessment, where you're looking at the structure of the business and how you can audit the business. Again, another opportunity to upsell. There's brand comparison, where you get into competitive audits and mapping the differentiation between the competition. Brand definition, this is classic strategy of positioning statements, avatars, brand personalities. Then you get into brand visualization. This is where that Venn diagram of strategy and design start to cross, where you get into the creative brief and color mood board development and visual and verbal expressions of a brand. And then we're going to talk about mindset and how you go about designing a modular kind of engagement with your clients using this system. And then we're going to put it all into action. The total price of the course, the 7 modules, is $19.97. The program is a $19.97 value. You get the 7 modules. You get replay videos if you can't make the live sessions, the live Zoom sessions. You get you get access to those replay videos for the foreseeable future. So you can go back and re-listen to them, or if you happen to miss that Zoom session, you can catch it before we do the Facebook Lives, which I'm going to get to talk to you about in a second. And then you get 23 strategic tools and checklists. We're also going to get a bonus. The bonus is a private Facebook group where I'm going to teach a module on Tuesdays and excuse me, on Tuesdays, and then on every Friday we're going to have a Q&A live session in a private Facebook group. I'm doing this so if you have any questions about that module, how to put that module into action in your practice, I want to answer all those questions for you in person. So you are coming out of the gate really fully having your head around what I'm teaching you. I don't have anything special here, but I did over 25 years, and then coming into my own agency after 6, develop a process, simplified process, modular process, and a toolkit that I use in my agency day to day. And I know that I can teach it to you to up your game, increase your revenue, and so you can start getting paid to think. So we have a private Facebook group, which is $4.97 value. There's a brand strategy project toolkit, which are these tools, PDFs, forms, instructions, and lots of examples of how they're used. There's also the money back guarantee, which is this is all risk-free, really literally risk-free. If you're not satisfied after attending the first 2 modules and going to the first 2 live Facebook groups and can show me that you've done the work and engaged, and you're not happy, you don't think it's going to work for you, I will gladly give you a full refund. And then there's also the project roadmap. I told you that this thing is modular, right? So you can design a brand strategy process and have it be, a cookie cutter. So it's done exactly the same way, all the same modules, all the time. But almost no brand strategy engagement works that way. Every client has different needs. Every client has different budgets. Every client has a different appetite for what they feel like they really need. So this system is made to be modular, so you can deliver aspects of it and get paid for that aspect without having to deliver the entire thing soup to nuts. That's what's so cool about it, because you may find clients who only need a little bit. You may find clients that need a whole lot. I address that in this course. And the value of all the stuff, the course and all the bonuses all put together, is $34.88. And I've had people in my own colleagues' mastermind group saying, you should, maybe not $34.88, maybe $2,000. That's a very strong, good price for the value that you're giving people. But out of the gate, because this is my very first offering of this course, I'm going to offer it for $497. It will never be offered for this price again, and it is a steal. And if you want to get started today, you can go to philipvandusen.com/enroll. I'm giving you 2 payment offerings. One is a full pay of $497, but if you need to do it in 2 payments, you pay slightly more, but you get to go through that second week of the module before you do your second payment. In doing this, what you're going to overcome is, if you've been kind of intimidated by the idea of even learning brand strategy. I've been working with creative professionals for 25 years. I've mentored dozens and dozens of them and walked them through these processes. I can teach you. I can help you wrap your head around how to implement this in your business and help you figure out where to start with it. We're going to solve that challenge of being able to sell bigger projects and not getting paid for the thinking that you've been giving away for free. If you've had any confusion about how to communicate the return on investment of strategy so you can get your clients to pay for it, we're going to address that. And your fear of Fiverr and the downward pricing pressure of the global economy. If you've been frustrated with getting treated like an order taker, a mouse pusher by your clients, you're going to overcome that as well. You're going to move to a whole new level of confidence. And so this is just what it's going to look like. I just wanted to illustrate very quickly exactly what it looks like if you decide to engage with me. So if you go to philipvandusen.com/enroll, you're going to get taken to a sales page, which it's a long scrolling page. It's got an incredible amount of detail on what is in the course. It's also got a gigantic frequently asked questions section at the bottom, and which will probably answer every single question that you have. You scroll down, you choose a payment option, you click out on one of those, and it's going to take you to a details page where you fill out your name, your email address, your password, and you process your payment for the course. And after that, you're going to be bounced to a thank you page, and you'll get an email that'll invite you to the private Facebook group, which will be open just a couple days before the course starts. And then you go to branddesignmasters.com. After you've purchased the course, you click on My Library at the top in the menu, and that's going to take you to the course itself, the menu of the course. You pop in, and you might have to log in if you had been out and doing something else, and then you come back. There may be a login screen in there somewhere, so make sure to write down your password, obviously. And then you're in the course. I'm dripping this course out. So what that means is I'm going to release each module just before I teach it. So when you go into the course, only the welcome section is available for you right then. Just before I teach module number 1 will become available. So I have a nice little welcome video in there, a great little downloadable outline of what the course syllabus looks like. And this is going to be available for purchase until February 11th at midnight. So through Thursday, midnight it closes. So it opened up on the 2nd of February, closes on the 11th. After that, it's not going to be available anymore until the next time I launch it. And the next time I launch it, most likely it's going to be a lot more expensive. So classes start Tuesday, February 23rd. That's when the first module is going to go. And we're going to have a little welcome in the private Facebook group before that, the end of the week before that, around the date. Let's talk about the date, probably around the 19th. Where we're going to, I'll give you a little tour live in the private Facebook group. So again, if you don't want to be treated like a for-hire design chimp and you want to be really a more strategic partner, then you are in the right place. And if you think you want to get paid for the thinking that you do and the advice that you give, in addition to your creative work, I can help you get there. And if you want to charge higher fees for the work that you do and stop worrying about Fiverr, then this is really the thing that you should do. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, my clients never want to pay for brand strategy, right? Oops, that zoomed in and it shouldn't have zoomed in. Got to move that. Sorry about that. Well, I have a module for that, right? Module 2, lesson 3. It's about how to sell in strategy. You might be saying, I've never done strategy before. I'm curious about it, but I don't really know what it entails. I don't have an MBA. I'm not like a super, business whiz. Maybe this is going to be too complicated. But I have taught people from just out of college to people who are creative directors at global agencies, but who have never had exposure to strategy, this process. And I've been running paid mastermind groups, coaching creative professionals, and have been a creative leader for over 25 years. I know how to teach people this stuff. So you're in very, very good hands. Now, finally, you may be saying, I'm not sure I can afford it, and the course is going to have to pay for itself somehow. Well, I mentioned to you before Joselle Tech, who's one of my mentees. Joselle lives in the Philippines. She has her own small brand consultancy, her and a couple of freelance partners. And when I started working with her a little over a year ago, she was just offering design. And so I walked her through the first iteration of the Brand Strategy 101 course about 6 months ago, a little more, 9 months ago, when I was building the course. She said this: I used to share my advice about a client's business without charging them. And by using Philip's brand strategy process, today I made $6,000 leveraging his toolkit and sales methods. What I learned in Brand Strategy 101 enabled me to 2x my revenue and 3x my fees in the first year. In fact, the first 6 months that she used the system. And here's the incredible thing, and she's not here, but what happened to Joselle about 2.5 weeks ago is, we meet every week. She's a mentee of mine. And she called me up totally like on fire. And she said, I cannot believe it. I had a client. I sold a $6,000 design job to him. And we had a follow-up call, and I was walking him through some of the strategic ideas and stuff that I had shown him in his competitive audit. And I upsold him an $18,000 strategy job. And she was like, she had never sold a project that big. And it was 18 on top of 6, right? So it's 24 altogether. She had never sold a project that big in her life. And $24,000 is a hell of a lot of money in the Philippines. I tell you that. So she was like pretty stoked. She is like my number one case study for this and how successful it can be. I got to move my little head bubble out of the way. But I promised you a download. If you go to http://branddesignmasters.com DC checklist, you can download this discovery call checklist PDF, where I have 14 categories with a little more detail about what you can explore in a discovery call. This is just a freebie for sticking with me through this. I really, really appreciate it. Now, I'll give you one little heads up. When I've tested this a couple times on different systems, for some reason, when you add HTTPS on some browsers, you get like this page that says it's like a phishing site or it's suspect or like back out now. And then you do the same URL without the S and it's totally fine. So if you get a page like that, don't freak out. Just use a different URL or a different browser. It's totally kosher. I'm not trying to steal your information. So that's the freebie. So you got that, branddesignmasters.com DC checklist. I'm going past this slide now. You got it? Give you a couple seconds. All right. I know, 7 Career, you're cracking up. I know. I freaked myself out. I was testing it like a couple days ago, just before I did a webinar. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? It scared the hell out of me. So again, 2 payments at $297, 1 payment of $497. It's available until midnight on February 11th, next Thursday. Classes start on the 23rd. So if you go to philipvandusen.com/enroll, you can jam with me in Brand Strategy 101, and I guarantee you're going to get some incredible value out of it. And with that, if you guys have any questions about this, I'd be happy to take questions. If I'd like to keep the questions to the content, either about the course or about the content that I shared in terms of the discovery audit and stuff like that. And I am going to put this URL, I'm going to close this slide out, and I'm going to put this URL up here, and I'm going to put my camera back on. Oh, got to put the URL back on there. Sorry. Let me find it. There we go. All right. So if you guys have any questions about what I just shared, I'd be happy to answer them. And there's the course itself and the URL again. So you have two places to see the URL. I'll close this one out because that's kind of obnoxious. All right. Well, you guys, it's been great. I'm really stoked that you hung out with me here today, and I hope that you've gotten some value out of the 3 secrets that I shared about the discovery call, the competitive audit, and the brand audit super combo, and what that can mean in terms of unlocking more work for you. That was the focus of this presentation, was the value that I was giving there to you for free. And if you stuck with me through the sales pitch of my course at the end, I really appreciate it. I wanted to give you value and a kind of a peek into just a little bit of the sort of thinking and content that I go into in this course for free. Give you the checklist, which is just a small example of, actually, it's a kind of a truncated PDF of a larger tool that's 4 pages long with, like, I don't know, there's like 70 questions that you can use in a discovery call. Really, really deep information. That's part of the course. So that's it. Andrew says he'll do his best to be there. That's cool. And if any of you have not joined the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, just do a little pivot here. That is, I can get another, there we go. Facebook.com/groups/Brand Design Masters. You got to fill out a form. You have to supply your email address. If you don't get in. And it is a great little community of creative professionals on Facebook. Everyone hates Facebook. I hate Facebook, but it's easy for everyone to get to, and it's great and an easy place to interact. Here's the other thing to know about the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, and that is that I go live in there and do things live in Facebook that I don't do on YouTube. So you can always see me go live and do my thing on YouTube, but if you want to see any more or additional content, then you have to go to the Facebook group. I also do something, and I've only done it a couple times, but I'm going to do it more, something called the Masters Lounge, which is kind of a little bit of an interview Zoom get-together, kind of cocktail party on Facebook, where we discuss brand strategy and design questions for the group in a more relaxed, kind of entertaining type of atmosphere. So head on over there. Check that out. All right. I don't see any questions coming in. I don't think I had a question the whole time, which is fine. That means I've just told you absolutely everything that you needed to know. I left no stone unturned. I like that. But I will give you just a second to weigh in. Otherwise, I'm going to blow. And it's been really awesome talking to you guys. All right. Question. Is there a schedule yet to see what days the classes are? Yes, the classes are going to be every Tuesday. It's going to be every Tuesday, probably at 2 p.m. It depends on the global makeup of the student body. Once I got all the students in, I'm going to decide exactly what time on Tuesday is going to benefit most of the people. I'm flexible with that. I want to work and get as many people there live as possible, but it's going to be on Tuesdays. And it's going to be on Tuesdays going through April 13th. I said that it's 7 modules. It may be 7 weeks. There's one module of this course which is really deep and has a lot of content in it. And I'm a little, because I've never, taught it. This is the first time. This is not the first time I've taught it. It's the first time I've actually done the entire course in this new format. And I'm a little concerned that this one module 5 might actually need 2 meetings to get through all the content. So it may be 8 sessions. It may go through April 13th. And to a certain extent, anyone who signs up for this course, this is my first time offering the course, and I'm offering it cheap for a reason too, because to a certain extent, I am, working out what is the best form to deliver this in. And I'm looking for feedback as we go through this. And it's going to be very much of an interactive sort of experience. I could have done this course on video and just recorded videos and edited them out into modules and plopped them out on a site, and you pay and you watch the videos in your own time. But I thought it was really important, this particular content, strategic content, that I taught it to you personally, and I took your questions and made sure that you really comprehended it, rather than offering up, 10 zillion videos that you only make it through a quarter of them and you don't really get the benefit of the content. I want everyone to really understand how to do this and how to put it in work in their business so it can benefit them like it's benefited the other people that I've walked through this course. So that's why I'm delivering it live. I don't know whether I'll deliver it live forever going forward. I might not. I might turn it into a video course. But anyway, that's how I'm doing it this time. And it's on Tuesdays. And I'm going to work out the time as soon as the student body blocks. Okay? 7 Carrera, I hope that helps. And as I said, the card is open now. You can go there. You can purchase. You can jump into the course. And it closes on midnight on the 11th. So we have a very finite period of time. All right. So thank you guys. This has been awesome. I really appreciate your time today. I hope you've gotten as much value as I was hoping to deliver in this presentation to you. And if you did, give me a thumbs up in the comments, or a thumbs up here, or down in the comments of the video afterwards. Like the video, share it, please. Share it on social. That would make my heart just totally full if you would do that. And tag me so I know that you have. Because I remember people who share my stuff. Peter Lewis knows that. Another people, Wajahat knows that. People who share my stuff. Pamela knows that. And you get a special place in my heart, and I remember you. So anyway, you guys have a great night. Thanks a lot, Anita, Alexa, Wajahat, Rafa, Peter, Ryan, Mariana, as usual, Andrew. Great to see you guys. Ryan, thanks again for hanging with me, and I'll see you next time.